Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up and disassemble this HP Envy x360M convertible model 13m-ag0002dx. Alright, so the customer already had these rubber things kind of coming off. The adhesive isn't holding well. I'm most likely going to replace that adhesive with something better. So let's go ahead and peel this off. Normally, you would want to peel the adhesive with the rubber piece and have them stay together, and so that way you can get a hold of the screws under here. But again, this, as you can see, it's not good and it's just peeling off really easily. Okay, so we're gonna throw this old adhesive away. On the newer models, or I don't know if it's the newer models, but on some models they change this adhesive to like a thicker plastic piece so it actually holds together better. This one's more like, as you can see, this floppy, flimsy material. I don't have that thick plastic type of adhesive, but I have like some stronger acrylic type tape. The tape is stronger, or the adhesive is stronger, but the tape itself is still flimsy. Alright, so to get this apart, we're going to use a Torx T5 screwdriver and a PH1 or JAS1 screwdriver. Right, so first thing, let's go ahead and get the PH1 or JAS1 screwdriver, and we're going to remove all the screws that were hidden underneath the adhesive strips. All right, you want to keep these screws in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths. We'll do that with all the screws, of course. The way I do that is I take the flat end of the screw, put it like that on my desk. In the pattern, I remove it. So as you can see, just like one. Okay, then you go across, so there's 4 across the top, so you'll put a row of 4, and then along the bottom there's 2 of the PH1 or JS1 screws, and then 2 T5 screws. It's very important you keep the screws in order, because if you put a screw that's too long or too big in the wrong spot, you can actually damage the computer. Alright, so let's go ahead and remove the 2 screws in the center here. And usually I will put them in the layout in the rows that I remove them. So these screws, they're close enough that I'll put these in a row all together, so 4 screws at the bottom. Alright. If you want, just do it however helps you remember best. If you want, you can put these 2 in a separate row, but because there's only 4 and then these are on the outer, they don't overlap, then it's very easy to remember with a row of 4. Alright, at least for me. Okay, so now that we got all these screws out, there's only 8 screws on the bottom. Let's try and pop this open. I'm going to try with a suction cup. If that doesn't work, then we'll have to try a different method. Alright, so let's see here. Let's try and use the suction cup here. I'm going to try from the back and see if we can pop this up. It doesn't want to come up. As you can see, this cover is very strong, so we're most likely going to have to use some pry tools to get this up. Did I just break my suction cup? I just broke my suction cup. Alright, I'm gonna need to get another suction cup for this later. But there we go. Alright, so let's see, how can we pop this open? So, because this opens 360, oh, there's lots of crumbs and stuff on it. Let's see here, we're gonna have to look for an entry point. I'm looking for one right now. I'm not really seeing a good entry point here. Okay, there's like a dent in this one. So this kind, I'm very likely going to have to use my thin metal pry tool. Okay, you can use plastic tools if you want, but I find they just break and they don't work very well. Most likely I'm going to have to pry from the back because there's a lot more empty space here. So most likely down here is like some very strong clips. So we're going to start from the back here. I could be wrong. Most of these, when I disassemble them, they're somewhat of an experiment, so I have to kind of just be careful not to break anything. So this back piece here kind of gave way when I put the tool there, so let's see. I can kind of slide the tool in there, but it's not unclipping or coming up or anything, so I might have to try from the front side. Okay, this one has these 2 corner screws here, so let's try and pry from there. Doesn't seem to want to move. Man, this is going to be a pain. Okay, let's go from the side here. There's no clips on the or there's no screws on the side, so most likely it's all clips, but nothing is coming out. when you do this, you want to be very careful. I'm not inserting the tool too far, just in case. But that's not coming out. Let me try in the center with the suction cup. Wow, this thing is not giving at all. I can't pull up anywhere. Okay, so I'm not too sure how we're gonna pop this thing open. It's being very tough. Let's try with one of these corner edges on this side. Not coming up at all either here. Wow, I don't know. All right, let's go ahead and try the front again. And this case is all like metal, aluminum, or I don't know, it might be a mixture of stuff. Sometimes they like to mix like magnesium and things in there. This cover's super strong. It's not popping out, so I'm not sure how I'm going to get this apart, and I don't want to damage it. Once we get this thing open, we can usually see how it's held together. As you can see, nothing wants to come out. Let's go ahead and try the side again here. To be careful because there's the buttons and stuff in the sides. Nothing is coming out. Wow. Okay, this one I'm not too sure. The clips in here are just super strong. I have to be careful because there's the USB port right here. The other side, there's the power jack right there. They're all super close to the edge of the case. On this corner, it's kind of lifting up a little bit, but not really. Let's try the side here. Nothing's coming up. On this side, it's already a little bit dented, so I'm gonna see if I can use that dent to my advantage. And hopefully once I get the cover off, we can take a look and see what the clips actually look like underneath here. Okay, it looks like going down this side is somewhat working, but not really. Okay, I think I got part of it up. I'm pulling up with my fingernails here while I kind of just guide this along to create a gap. Okay, but it's really difficult. Okay, so this side kind of popped up, and it's kind of letting me pop up the back here. So let's try and go along the back. I don't know, these clips, whatever they put in here, are super strong. I'm going to use some popsicle sticks to keep it up, just so I don't accidentally clip it back down. Okay, I don't know, these clips are way too strong. Like, why even bother putting screws at this point? Come on, this thing's not coming out at all. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. Let's try the other side. I'm gonna put this popsicle stick all the way horizontal here just so it stays in there. Lift the cover, and oops, I'm gonna lose the popsicle stick in there. Alright, let's go ahead and try this side. Again, I have to be careful because the USB port over there. Let's try the corner up here. Wow, these clips are super strong. I don't know, man. Okay. If anyone knows an easy way to pop this open, let me know. But hopefully I'll be able to figure it out once I get this cover off. Okay, this is kind of working. Okay, so I'm sliding the tool, and then when I feel kind of when it gets stuck, I kind of just pop this tool, and it did help release the clip, it looks like. Okay, it looks like we're getting around this front area, so let's see if we can go ahead and continue prying this way. Sorry, oops, didn't realize my head was getting in the way. So here we can see we're getting underneath here. Okay, and then I have to kind of pull the tool upwards a little to get the clip to release. There we go. Okay, so we're going along the front first, it looks like. Then it feels like there's actually clips in the center as well, so this isn't going to be easy to pop this up. Let's see if we can slide this or something. Sometimes moving it around will help because the clip might be holding sideways, forwards, or who knows which way. I'm pulling the cover towards myself. It kind of popped something up a little. All right, there we go. All right, let's see if we can see, take a look at the clips here. So here you can see the clips actually go outwards, so they grip into the case this way. So let's see, all the clips are like that. Oh, this clip is actually broken here, so take that out and throw it away. I don't want clips falling and rolling around inside. So all the clips are about the same, and the clips in the back are actually, is this clip broken too? Yeah. This corner clip's also kind of broken, so we're gonna get rid of that. So the ones towards the back stick out much further, so yes, you do want to lift from the front first. And it would help because there's also a lot less stuff here, so you want to actually pull from the front. So let me actually show you how you would normally do this now that I can see inside. So I'm going to start with this cover slightly back over this way, and then we're going to slide that into place again, because those ones aren't really clips, they're more like hooks. Okay, let's go ahead and clip all of this back down. Okay, so just like that, the cover's like this, and as you can see, it's stuck in real strong again. There are also center clips here. Okay, so what you want to do, we're going to start where the laptop opens on the front here. We're going to get in this gap, and because the clips go in this way, you actually want to pull this way, because that will pull the cover and the clips back that way. So try and get your thin pry tool in there, okay, in the gap. So once you get it in the gap here like this, you're going to rotate it up this way, just like this, okay? And you're going to slightly pull up if you can get your fingernails in there. And then while you're kind of pulling it this way, you're going to pull up, okay? So we're going to keep going along, okay? And the clips should slowly pop out. There we go. Okay, once you get the front up, what I like to do is I like to use my thumb to push down here while pulling up with my other fingers. All right, and that, what you basically do is flex the center of this cover so it pulls the whole shell in that way. That way all the side clips will release as well. If you want, you can try and pull the cover in so that these go towards the center, and that should help you release the clips. As you can see, now they're coming out a lot easier. Okay, and you're going to want to work your way over. Again, there are clips in the center of this which are pretty difficult to remove. You kind of just have to keep working it. And there we go, it popped out. So here you can see there's a clip here in the center and a clip here in the center. So those clips are kind of somewhat of a pain. They do clip over this way, so the middle clips release when you push the cover this way, but then these ones here you have to pull it out that way. So all right, so anyways, I'm going to have to clean up the dust in here. Doesn't look like you can upgrade the RAM. The RAM is soldered underneath this metal cover. You got the battery here, KC04XL. All right, you got an M.2 SSD here. I'll show more once I take this thing, clean it up, okay? But this is a PCIe NVMe SSD, all right? If you're not sure how to take those out, there's one screw here. You take that out, it pops up at an angle and you can pull it out. Same thing with the wireless card. I got a bunch of videos that show how to do this in all the other models. So you want to watch those videos if you want to see how to remove those, because I don't want to mess around with those things. The main thing I'm going to be focusing on here is the charge port, which is here. And that plugs in down this way and then it connects down to here. They told me the battery's draining really fast and the charge port, it wasn't charging or something. So let me see what happens if I plug the charger, if I can see if this is moving or not. It looks like it's not moving around, so that's kind of weird. Oh, actually, there we go. So here you can see the charge port is actually having some issue. When I plug it in, you can see the lights on and now it's charging. But if I don't hold that and I just plug it in, as you can see, nothing is happening. So I don't know how this very tiny bit of extra is helping. I think internally the charge port is actually broken, because it shouldn't be. I'm not even moving it like 1/10 of a millimeter. It's barely moving at all. and the charge port is also a little bit loose. As you can see, I just wiggled it and then it stopped charging. So I'm going to have to order a replacement charge port for this. Hopefully I can remove that without taking the entire computer apart. I'm likely going to have to just take the M.2 SSD out as well as the hinges. So I'll kind of go over that, what I have to remove. If you're going to mess with all these cables up here, the LCD, LVDS connectors and everything, you do want to make sure disconnect this battery. The battery, you just grab the wings here and you wiggle and pull it out. You might have to actually undo the screws to lift the battery out of its place, but the speaker cable here threads through this, so be careful when doing that. You're going to want to either unthread the speaker cable first. You just kind of unroute it through this area here. All right. And both speakers, they actually connect up here. So if you're removing you can actually also lift the speakers out if you don't want to undo all this threading or the wires. But yeah, okay. You got the keyboard connector here, keyboard backlight. This is most likely for the trackpad. Either one of these two are for the trackpad, and then maybe this one might actually be for the micro SD card slot here. So that's probably going underneath the battery. I'm not going to take it out. Again, battery model KC04XL. They have an HP spare part number here as well, which is L08496-855. Okay. If you can't open yours, I would recommend trying to open your laptop first, because if you order parts and you can't get this thing open, then the parts aren't going to really be useful to you. So make sure to do that. You got the other two speakers up here and the connectors right there. And then these all have those flip latch type connectors. All right. This USB board, I can't tell because they put all this tape here. Okay. Looks like this is all part of the motherboard. I don't think it's a separate board. Yeah. Fan connectors under here. Okay. And that's pretty much all I'm going to show in here. I'm going to clean up the dust, and then I'll see about showing how to remove this charge port, if I can do it without removing the whole, without removing the entire motherboard. If I have to remove the entire motherboard, I'm going to have to contact the customer first and let them know if it'll be worth it to them for me to do that. As you can see, this charge port, it keeps losing connection. But it can't really even be pulled forward much because this plastic here is designed like that. So yeah. All right, let me clean this up and I will be back to show you if we can remove the charge port without taking it completely apart. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, so I cleaned up the inside, you can see. All right, a lot less dusty. So now let's see about removing the charge port. All right, so first thing we're going to have to do is undo the hinge. So there's two screws holding this. They have little arrows pointing to show you where the screws came from. We're going to switch to a PH1 or JS1 screwdriver and remove those two screws. The hinge screws, I usually like to add some thread locker when putting them back, just so they continue to hold well, because sometimes the hinge screws come loose and then that can cause some major problems. All right, and the way you get the hinge up, you can actually leave one screw in or leave both screws in, but what I do is I'm going to hold this here. Okay, we're going to open up the screen slightly. Once you open it up just a little bit like that, all right, you can slowly close it back down, and here you can see now the hinge is up. And then I'm going to move this by hand just in case I don't want it to hit anything over here and cause damage. All right, there's some dust caught under here, so let's clean that out. All right, let's go ahead and remove the M.2 SSD as well. Let me actually zoom in to make this easier to see. Okay, so we're going to remove this one screw here. All right, once you get the screw out, as I mentioned earlier, it will pop up like this. Once it pops up, you can go ahead and pull this out. So there's the M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD. All right, so here you can see this cable is just right there, so we can lift this out. Okay, and the charge port, let's see if we can lift that out as well. I'm going to use my screwdriver to help kind of pull this from the front. It might be hitting the hinge here. Actually, no, it's not. Okay, let's pull the hinge back further. Oops, sorry. Pulling. Okay, so the hinge I got pulled all the way completely out of the way. Oops, you have to kind of leave it back a little bit. I think it's, oh no, it's hitting this metal a little bit. So you want to be careful opening the hinge because it will hit this metal area there. Okay, let's go ahead and lift the charge port out. Okay, it does have a little clip in the back here. Sorry, I didn't realize it's not in view. So it does have this little clip here. All right, so we are going to have to try and lift this out without getting caught on this clip. And it helps to kind of rotate from this side. You want to be careful not to damage the motherboard. Man, it's stuck in there. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now we got this out. Okay, so here you can see the cable plugs in down here. If I plug this cable directly onto this, it should charge up. Okay, right now there's no light as you can see, but if I push it really hard, it lights up. So yeah, definitely something is wrong with the charge port, and I think that also damaged the battery. All right, so now that we got that, we can kind of grab this connector here, and we're going to kind of wiggle and pull it back. Let's see if we can take this out. We might have to take the whole motherboard out, or at least lift it up slightly. So as you can see, it's getting caught right there. So let's see here, what can we lift out here to get the motherboard high enough? So right now, if we lift this, it's not going to move. Let's go ahead and take the wireless card out as well. So one screw here. Hopefully it won't be too difficult to get this up. All right, once you get that screw out, what I like to do to make these cables easier to get out, I lift the wireless card up slightly, get my fingernail underneath the tail, and then push it down, and that will help me pop the antenna out. If I can't pop the antenna out like this, sometimes it helps. I just use both fingernails like this at the tail and then pull it up just like that. I don't know if it matters which one is at which arrow, but I'm gonna mark this so I know that the black arrow has this mark on it. All right, there we go. Okay, let's go underneath the tail and pop that antenna as well. There we go. So now we got both antennas out. Let's go ahead and pull the wireless card out just like the SSD. Okay, just like that. And let's see, can we lift the motherboard up slightly? Barely, not really. Okay, so I'm not too sure what screws holding the back side of the motherboard down. I do see screws holding the bottom of the motherboard down, but yeah, so let's see. Let's go ahead and start removing some motherboard screws then. So we're going to remove the screw down here, and we're going to remove the screw down here, and let's see if that's enough. Okay, so you got those out. Nope, it's still caught here somewhere. I don't want to lift that stuff up. Are there screws hiding under here? There's a thermal pad. Oh, there is a screw hiding underneath this heat shield pad thing. All right, so we'll remove that screw. Hate when they do that. Okay, get that screw out, and now hopefully we can lift this up. Yes, we can lift it up quite a bit. There we go. So that's enough to pull this connector out. So you want to keep in mind the red wires are on the left side, and then the white wires are on the right. So when you go to put this back, you put it back the right way. But anyways, this charge port is what's damaged. You're going to want to open yours to check if it's the same. There's HP. They have the actual model number here, HP cable. The number's kind of screwed up, but it says 799735 dash, and then I can't read the rest. It's like a, I think that's a 9. Most likely it's 901 or something, or I don't know. 9, I think it's 901. Okay, so I'm gonna look that up. This is a 90 watt. It shows 90 watt on it, and then there's those numbers there, 799735. So that's how you get that out. We're gonna close this back up. Okay, and we're gonna put back most of it together. I'm gonna let the customer know that we need to order the charge port. Okay, let's go ahead and put these screws back in. Okay, hopefully this video helped you guys so that you don't accidentally make the same mistake of bending this. I'm gonna be able to bend that back. It shouldn't be an issue, but hopefully you won't even have to bend it back after you've seen this video. Okay, so we're gonna put these 2 screws back in down here. Okay, so most likely I didn't have to remove the wireless card, but yeah, so let's go ahead and put this back in. Goes in at the angle like that. Okay, get that screw. Make sure this is pushed in all the way. Okay, make sure the antennas are on top when you put the wireless card down. Right, sorry if my head gets in the way. I'm trying to see what I'm doing. So this isn't completely lined up right, it looks like. Sorry, let me try and fix this real quick. Okay, there we go. Make sure to get the antennas out on top. Oops, sorry. And then get the screw back in. Okay, let's go ahead and put the SSD back in. And again, we're gonna have to check what the replacement charge port costs. It's not too difficult to remove, it's a little bit, but not too bad. All right, now let's go ahead and put the wireless antennas back. Let me zoom in a little bit, make this easier to see. Hopefully you guys can actually see. All right, so to get the antennas, you have to make sure they're completely aligned. Once you get that, just push it straight down. It's very important. If you don't have them aligned properly and you try and force it down, you can easily bend the connector or the wireless antenna itself, and then you won't be able to put that back. All right, so be very careful. Make sure it's completely aligned before you push it down. There we go. Now let's go ahead and push the hinge back in place. Okay, it might help to actually open up the computer and then align it this way. Okay, so align it with the screen open, get this lined up. Oops, sorry, get that lined up and then push that down. Here you can see I accidentally bent this out, so I'm going to use this. I'm going to use that to flatten that back over. There we go, just like that. Okay, we got that in place. We're going to put this on top. Let's get those 2 screws back in. I'm going to have to add thread locker later, but for now, because I'm going to have to put the buy the replacement charge port first, I'm not going to do that. Okay, we'll put this screw. So I already showed how to put the bottom cover back in. Basically, you put the back where the hinges are first, like this, and then you put, once you make sure these slide in properly, then you go ahead and clip everything in. I'm not going to do that because I do have to open it again. Again, we're going to get some replacement of the adhesive. So I have these adhesive, acrylic adhesive tape here that I will actually put along there once I finish. And it's actually easier if you stick it to the rubber piece first. But just to make sure that the rubber piece fits in right, because sometimes the rubber gets stretched out so it doesn't fit right, I would actually put the adhesive into the groove first, and then what I do is I will get the rubber piece in on one side here. I'll try and hold the center up, and then I'll get the other side in, and then I work my way towards the center, because as you can see, the rubber is a little bit stretched out and now it's going too far that way. So when you do it this way and you stick that all, then you can kind of work your way towards the center, and the adhesive will help kind of squeeze it back together. All right, and that's pretty much it. Just put all the screws. Make sure you put the screws before you put the rubber and the adhesive, of course. But yeah, hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can also learn how to open up and work on their devices. Thank you for watching. If this video helped save you a bunch of money, please consider throwing a little my way. Even $1 is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you all in the next one. All right, let's drop this. Bye.